Hello everybody and welcome to another amazing video of DIY investing. For today's video, we're going to be talking about the recent announcement that the Ethereum ETF is most likely going to be getting approved. As we're having this announcement, the price of Ethereum is absolutely breaking out massively. A lot of altcoins are starting to break out as well. Why I thought that we were at that point before Bitcoin profits were going to be rotating back into altcoins, and we finally have that catalyst that's going to send all of these altcoins into new all-time highs. Guys, we're also going to be breaking down some of my favorite charts in the market. I'm going to be sharing with you guys 4 of my favorite altcoins that I think are sitting on massive support levels, and I'm going to be providing some of the bigger gains going over the next couple months that you can find in the market. If you find any value in this video, please do me a favor, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on any of these updates. For anybody that wants to see how I'm investing my portfolio long term, links are in the description to go ahead and sign up on my website. Now right off the bat, guys, all of this news that we're seeing with Ethereum is really fueling the upside potential in the charts. Now basically giving all of the exchanges the go ahead to make your final touches with the ETFs. We're going to be sending these through the pipeline. That basically gives the okay that, hey, we're going to be pushing these through very soon. And I think a lot of this is being driven because President Trump took such a heavy stance to be pro-crypto and pro-Bitcoin, told everybody that you need to vote for him if you're wanting anything to be good for crypto. And it got a lot of those votes in doing so. And so I think that with the Democrats being a little bit more anti-crypto up to this point, Gary Gensler being a little bit more anti-crypto, and then having Biden also making different pushbacks in sort of their laws and regulations that they've passed, what we're seeing is they've kind of taken the backseat. They've started to actually, make the okay for crypto, take a little bit of a lesser approach to regulating it in time for these elections so that they can go and debate. They don't have to pick a side too much so that they can play both sides, and then they don't have to necessarily sway too many opinions. I thought that was maybe what was going to happen because Trump needed to pick a side. He needs to get as many votes as he can get. I think that the Biden administration really just had to take a lesser approach with how kind of heavy stance they've been approaching their regulations up to this point. So seeing Ethereum breaking out, this is in my opinion where we're going to see a lot of those altcoin profits rotating back in. We've already seen a lot of these altcoin markets breaking out, but not as big as what we're seeing inside of the Ethereum market. Now ETH is right on its path to just going into new all-time highs, and that's what I was talking about in my last videos. In my last update, what I was talking about was the ETH BTC pair, and this is really important for Ethereum, Bitcoin, and the altcoins as a whole. If we're ever going to see the altcoins rise and make Altseason, it's really going to be factored around what happens with this chart. Now, I was updating you guys telling you how we had just finished our first little impulse to begin our cycle, and all we were doing was making our ABC correction all the way back down to trending support. This was going to be our 3rd time reacting to this trending support, and we were pretty much sitting right on top of it when I was making that update. Now, what we also had forming down here on the RSI was hidden bullish divergence. Anytime the RSI makes a lower low, which it did right here, yet the price is still uptrending, that's hidden bullish divergence. It shows that there's so much sellers, there's so much panic in the market that the momentum indicators are actually dragging for a lower low, yet this price is still uptrending along the way. So what that is just complete capitulation. Most people just aren't anticipating that the reversal is going to be setting in, and then that was pretty much setting us perfectly for this, big bullish pin hammer candle to form in here on the shorter time frames. I'm on the monthly time frame. This is a big time frame. Once we get outside of this shorter descending resistance, which we've been trending below ever since September of 2022, that's the moment where I think that this entire market's going to reverse, and we're going to be starting that next move into a new all-time high. The thing people underestimate about Ethereum BTC is the next leg up coming is going to be a wave 3, right? So we can look at a minimum target based off of our Fibonacci, and we could be looking that we have to go to at least this 1618 for it to be a wave 3, right? So what we're looking at here is this was wave 1, this was wave 2, and we're getting ready for wave 3. So our minimum target is the 1618. That in and of itself is a new all-time high. So even if we saw that at the topping point for our wave 3, we saw pullback wave 4, that would come back down to those prior all-time highs. We'd still be looking at another move into price discovery after that. And one thing I've noticed with these altcoins and what, ETH BTC does actually look like to me, if we come back to our first cycle, it looks a lot like the same similarities here, where once we kind of broke out and got into that new all-time high, retested it as support right here, we got a very, very big push into new all-time highs and price discovery. So when I'm looking at this entire market of Ethereum, it's just been consolidating throughout this entire time, much, much longer in time and duration than what we ever saw in 2016 or 17. I think that once we do get above that prior all-time high, even if it's a shorter move like this, I think the move into price discovery will be very parabolic. You know, I don't know what price it's going to get to. I've always believed that Ethereum BTC would go to at least a 0.3 price per Bitcoin, and it could be worth a third per Bitcoin. But I think that it could easily be worth more than that, guys. The thing about ETH is it has way more ability to gain adoption because there's so much more adoption that happens in Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Now, we have Bitcoin's own layer 1 these days. It has the ability to gain a little bit more market share and grab TVL from Ethereum this cycle. But regardless, so much of that already exists in Ethereum, and I wouldn't be the least bit surprised to see the ETH BTC chart get all the way up to a 0.3 to maybe even on the high end of a 0.5. That'd be really crazy, I know, but if we were to see a super cycle in these altcoins, it wouldn't surprise me at all. And we have seen these moments where for periods of times, you know, when Bitcoin money rotates and then altcoins start to run, you can actually see these prices balloon really quickly, although they only last for short periods of times. I would only expect that this would be a bubble, right? If we were to run all the way up to this 0.3, I would expect that we would pretty much instantly be coming back down and doing another one of these, right? That's the way that these the cycles work for the altcoins, and that's kind of the way that I think that they're going to continue to play out from here when we're looking at the long-term trend of how these cycles have worked historically. Now, when we're looking at Ethereum BTC, I think it's important that we're factoring in the Bitcoin dominance as well, because when we're looking at the Bitcoin dominance, this is really going to drive the value of the altcoins, because if we're going to be looking at the Bitcoin dominance topping, that's always marked the bottoming point of altcoins right before they start outperforming. We can come all the way back and look at the beginning of that 2017 bull market, and we can circle the same point on the graph for where the altcoins were. This was, even though we can't see the prior all-time high, this was at the exact prior all-time high before we broke out and went into a new all-time high in that move right there. But we can see that it was right at those prior all-time highs that the Bitcoin dominance topped, and we got this massive new all-time low that took place. Now, right over in here, if we look at the next point of our last cycle for the altcoins where the Bitcoin dominance once again topped, because Bitcoin dominance bottomed over here at 35% at the very top of that bull market, right? That's where Bitcoin dominance bottomed, and then that's where it started to uptrend. And we ended up peaking all the way over here January of 2021, right here at this area on the chart. So if we're looking at, and we're zooming out on a long-term basis, we're looking at these all-time highs. This was basically right around these prior all-time highs for the total market cap. In our last cycle, we were actually a little bit below those prior all-time highs. If we draw a line, we can see that we still had quite a ways to go before we were at a new all-time high. And that was when the Bitcoin dominance topped right here. We ended up making this sort of, you know, short-term sell-off, one final fake out, topped there, and then this was our entire last cycle for the altcoins. Notice how much smaller it was. This was a massive new all-time low, price discovery happening to the bearish sense on the Bitcoin dominance, and that was when the altcoins were making their biggest cycle in 2017. The last cycle was the smallest altcoin cycle we ever saw, and we never even made a new all-time low, and that's what we kind of saw happening here. Even though we did see a good amount of profit take place in those altcoins, Solana, Terra Luna, Phantom, many other altcoins did their thing. For the most part, it was very small in comparison with 2017. We know, historically speaking, that every single time the Bitcoin dominance tops, that's when the altcoin money rotates, or the Bitcoin profit rotates into the altcoins, I should say. And it's always marked right around those prior all-time highs of those last cycles. So when we're zooming in here and we're looking at where we're at today, and we see that we're right around those prior all-time highs once again, taking place inside of the altcoins, you know, in Bitcoin dominance looks like it could be at a topping point. Bitcoin dominance has a lot of bearish divergence that's taking place in here. Massive lower lows and lower highs. Meanwhile, the price is just slowly trending up, and it's trending right up into resistance, might I add. I think that there's a lot of reason why we could see the Bitcoin dominance be topping now. And with this ETF approval most likely going to be taking place in Ethereum, and with the Ethereum chart breaking out, I said that weird, Ethereum breaking out, with the Ethereum chart breaking out, I do think that this is the moment where we're going to see that shift taking place. You know, I didn't know what was going to cause it. I wondered if it was going to be the Ethereum ETF that was going to give us that, you know, catalyst to actually drive the value in the altcoins. And now with this, you know, so to speak, approval that's about to be taking place, the Ethereum price is breaking out. I think that this is going to be that shifting point that we've been expecting to see. So with that taking place, with us knowing that the altcoin markets are right around their prior all-time highs, pretty much at the exact same moment they were in the last cycle before we went into price discovery, looking at Bitcoin dominance very, very heavy, knowing that historically speaking, we're just in this massive downtrend like this, I honestly can't really see any other scenario where this doesn't top, except this cycle is going to be going into another new all-time low in the same ways that we did over here in 2017. And that's why I tell you guys, this is the cycle where we want to get positioned in the crypto markets. It doesn't matter which chain we're trading, there's going to be a ton of profit to be made. And now I wanted to go into some of my favorite altcoins that I'm currently invested in, the ones that I'm watching, because I think that these are going to perform very, very well and give us some of the biggest gains inside of this cycle. Now, the first one on today's list is going to be MetaSTAL. The reason I want to talk about MetaSTAL is because I really think that this one is going to be one of the better layer 2s that we're going to find. And with the Ethereum ETF approval, you're going to see a lot of money focusing inside of these layer 2s because Ethereum still can't scale, still has gas issues. And so with that, I think there's going to be a lot of money rotating inside of these layer 2 markets. Now, when we're looking at these, the reason I'm so bullish on altcoins, all of these major altcoins, the ones that I think are performing the best, all they've done is break out of their bear market bottoms, right? Because we spent all of this time here, here, and here, and then we broke out inside of this first leg up. This first leg up is just a first one wave impulse. All we really saw was 5 waves up. Then we saw this expanded flat A, B, and a C correction back down. And the very bottom of wave C took us right down onto trending support. Right on horizontal support, I should say, not trending support. Horizontal support. We retested it, and now we're getting a buyback even from that. So when I'm looking at this market, all we've done is break above even this lower high that we made in there, made a higher high above that. We're currently nested right on top of support of wave A and wave 4 that we were consolidating on when we were initially breaking out before this correction. And now everybody's getting this retest before we make that next leg up. But the good thing about this next leg up is this is only our first Elliott wave cycle. This was just a wave 1. So I've talked a lot about why Elliott waves can be impulsive and why they can also be very profitable to know. And it's because oftentimes when you're following these wave 3s, they get very impulsive. So our minimum target's the 1618. That's $243. Oftentimes they're going to extend even higher than the 2618, and they can go even higher than that. I've seen wave 3s just blow fib extensions off the charts, and this is one of those that I think could do that. I'm not trying to predict the price. I'm just trying to help map out why these things look good. Breaking out level to level, breaking out of this massive accumulation that we had been in, you know, 600 days, a breakout, a retest. Now we're about to start that next leg up. These are the type of cycles that are perfect for low leverage longs. These are the type of cycles that are about to just make big breakouts. And I don't know how high it's going to go, but I would say that at the minimum, we're going to the 1618. So if you're looking for a minimum target to just, you know, take a little profit, that's 2.25x. And if we were to hit 2618, that's like almost a 4x. This is one I'm holding all the way into the next cycle. I'm not trying to take heavy profits. I think that this one has 50 to 100x potential from where we're at right now. So don't fade Metis. It's one of the best layer 2s in the market. Next up on today's video is going to be Injective protocol. Injective is one that I just opened up a position today and posted inside of my group. And we actually bought some inside of this dip because this is one of my favorite altcoin charts that we're going to be looking at. When we're looking at altcoins that you want to be finding in the market, look no further than Injective, because when we're looking at Injective, it was one of the best performing altcoins in 2023. I bought Chainlink in the last cycle because it was kind of another one of those front runners. Oftentimes you can find altcoins that start to front run the cycles, get into them early, and then you make a lot of profit when they start breaking out. And Injective is one of those. Now, a lot of people think that this thing is done and over with, and I couldn't disagree more, because when we're zooming out and we're actually going to a monthly time frame, notice here, all we're doing is retesting the prior all-time highs of that last cycle as new support. So when we're looking on a weekly time frame, getting in here a little bit shorter, we can count our Elliott waves and we can actually see a super bullish setup playing out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and extended wave 5. This had a really hyped wave 5, and this is something that happens with Elliott waves. Sometimes you have just these short little impulses and then an extended wave 5. Sometimes wave 3 is a much bigger move. We never really know what's going to happen, but on the more hyped cycles, you're going to see them have these extended fifth waves. That's what Injective ended up doing. Now after this, we saw an expanded flat ABC correction, and wave C, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. Wave C came all the way back down right on top of the prior all-time highs as new support. The reason I like Injective is for a very similar reason with Metis. both of these had breakouts, and both of these are sitting on top of major support levels as big retest. That's what you want to see when you're buying a cycle. Now, Injective is more bullish because it's in a new all-time high retest. So the next leg up coming is price discovery. Now, when I look at the cycle, I like to look at the fibs as far as just trying to gauge where we could potentially see a target, you know. And if we're looking at this thing from the top of wave B to the bottom of wave C, our 1618 is going to be $102, and the 2618 is going to be all the way up here at like 153 bucks. So we're looking at a very big impulse coming. Where we're at right now to the 1618, you're looking at like a 2.5x approximately to a 4.5x. And I think that this thing could easily dwarf every one of these fib extensions and just go into this super massive new all-time high. And that's how all of these altcoins do their thing. When they go into price discovery, you don't want to try and pick tops. You don't want to try and take heavy profits. Let Bitcoin go into price discovery. Let Ethereum go into price discovery. Let all of the altcoins run. You're going to just get, you know, taking too much heavy profit at the beginning, and then when you're actually looking at the end of the cycle and you see how all of these altcoins are performed, you're going to be pissed off because you took too much profit early on. Everybody makes that mistake. This is my third cycle, so I've had the opportunity of, you know, getting in one cycle and getting wrecked, getting in the next cycle, making a lot of money, but then still making a lot of mistakes that you're just sitting there like, damn, I sold a lot of stuff too early. Like Solana, I sold too early. Phantom, I sold too early. Terra Luna, I wouldn't say I sold that too early because it crashed and went to zero after, but you know, it still went up like a few hundred X's from that point of where I sold. So when we're talking about crypto profits, I still made 20 and 40 and sometimes a 50x return on all of those cryptos I sold. But they went up another 100 to 200x from that point, where I'm talking, I made hundreds of thousands of dollars, whereas I could have made tens of millions of dollars, right? So that's the difference that you're talking inside of crypto cycles. So when you end up getting into those really good cycles that end up running really hard, don't try and pick tops. Just hold the damn crypto into new all-time highs, and you're going to just be way happier that you did that. Speaking from my opinion, speaking from personal experience, you know, as somebody who's made a lot of money in the markets, as somebody who's lost their ass as well, this is just something I've noticed. And with Injective already having that big 2023 performance, I think that with it sitting on this new all-time high retest, even if you're buying it right now, it's still a great time because I think it's going to be making a very, very big move into price discovery very soon. Last up on today's video is going to be SEI. This is another one of my favorite cryptos in the market because this is a new layer one that is just barely coming onto the market that is also kind of just doing the same thing that all of these other ones are doing. Now, it's following a little bit more to Injective stance where we got added to exchanges, we made the listing pump, this was the prior all-time high, and then when we made this first breakout, all we've done is just consolidate it right back on it as new support. So this is your first big breakout of the new cycle. This is price discovery. And when we count these Elliott waves, all we're looking at here is a wave 1, a wave 3, and a wave 5 up. So we saw our 5 waves up, and then we saw just your standard ABC correction back down. So all this is just a one wave impulse, and same thing that Injective is, same thing that Midas is. We have only just begun the beginning of all of these cycles, and so that's why I say that it looks like the money is going to be rotating into the altcoins, because if the next altcoin move is wave 3, I mean, that's where the most profit is made. So that's where you would expect to see the biggest upside, the most, you know, volume, all of those things. So it would line up with the altcoin profit finally getting that rotation into them. So when we're looking at this from the low to the high back down to the bottom of wave C, we're basically looking at a minimum target of $2.11. That's the 1618. We're looking at $2 or $3.16. That's going to be the next target. And for people that are wondering exact prices, $153 on Injective, $102 on the low target, and for Midas, $240 to $362. Sometimes I get carried away and then I don't say that, so you guys get pissed at me. Sorry about that. Anyways, from where we're at right now, to the 1618, you're looking at almost a 3x. To the 2618, it's a 4x. The thing about these cycles, guys, is with this being the first impulse, I'm not trying to pick tops. I'm not trying to sell at any of these fib targets. I honestly think that we're going to look back, and this chart's going to, you know, you almost won't even be able to see it because it's up so much. And then you're going to be really happy that you just held that long, even though it seems crazy that the market caps could be worth that much money, even though it seems impossible to think they can go up that much. Right now, we just want to hold. That's it. As Bitcoin's in new all-time highs, as all of the altcoins are sitting on major support, monthly supports, depending on which chart you're looking at, all of these are just looking really, really bullish. And I'm excited for you guys because I know that every one of these I just mentioned are ecosystems. You can buy tokens inside of them. Metis has an entire array of tokens you can buy inside of it. Injective has an entire array of tokens you can build it or buy inside of it. SEI, one of the same things, an entire layer one of tokens you can buy inside of it. All of these have ecosystems that are going to blow up. All of these charts are very bullish. It's not so much I'm telling you to go outright and buy these tokens, even though I think they're really bullish. It's that look into their ecosystems. They're really bullish as well. But then also look at what they're doing on the higher time frames. If they're all sitting on top of their prior all-time highs or at least major breakout levels as new support, it's an early indication that this is a reversal point. We're going to see the markets break out in a big way. And if you panic sold down here, you're an idiot because we're about to be breaking out. Not really, like it happens. Everybody makes mistakes. I literally have panic sold, time and time again. It happens. It's just the way the markets work. But understand that with us now breaking back out, you don't want to be, sitting in cash. You want to be back in the markets, accept your loss, accept that you panic sold, and that's okay. Everybody makes those mistakes. But I'm telling you guys right now, I have so much conviction in the markets. I'm all in. I couldn't be more all in. You guys know, you make fun of me for making my videos saying I'm all in for the 50th time. But I've been all in since I was 18 years old. I'm 26. I'm trying to get rich this cycle, and I want to see you guys do the same. And when I see these markets setting up in these ways, it gets me excited not only for myself, but for the sake of you guys that are going to be able to trade this market and make the profit over the course of this entire cycle. These are some solid picks, and I know you guys can make some good profit. Do your own research at the end of the day, but this is what I'm thinking. So if you did find any value, please do me a favor. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you did find any value in this and you want to see how I'm actually investing my portfolio. Any of these altcoins, Metis, we were buying all the way down here at the cycle low. I just posted signals for Injective down here on this dip. We're already in profit on those. Same thing with SEI. We've been accumulating those. I actually posted a new leverage position in both of these today. If you want to check them out, links are in the description. We've been nailing a lot of trades. It'd be fun to have you guys in there because the next leg up into price discovery is the most profitable one, and that's where our profits and the signals are going to be the biggest. So check it out. Links are in the description for my website. And with that being said, guys, thank you so much for the support. I'll catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.